In 32 states, all teens are required to take driver's education in high school with both classroom and road testing, at which point you only get a restricted permit, which is like a learner's permit here, provisional license for us.
Yeah.
You have to have someone in the car with you,
Yeah.
which got me thinking, that's no different to a CBT,
Yeah.
where you've got an L plate on. So, I mean, the American test, you have to pass a written test, an eye exam, and then a final road test, which is very similar to what we have to do, I guess, anyway.
Yep.
And I've got a few...
well, you say that, but the CBT isn't like that.
No, but like our driving lessons.
Yeah.
That kind of
but kind of just like basic training in the sense that we think of it. It's all practical.
It is,
they do a little bit of the highway code, but that's about it. At least in my experience, it was all just literally they put you on a motorcycle or on a scooter, and they just teach you how to ride.
Yeah,
basically.
and they've asked that you've at least looked at the highway code, and you can at least identify some road signs and stuff. That's what it was like for me anyway.
Yeah.
So they say that it can lower insurance costs, and many insurance companies offer a discount for teens who have taken driver's ed.
So it's not compulsory anyway.
Well, some states, yes. 32 states out of the 52, it is compulsory.
Oh, yes. You did say that earlier, yeah.
And it's taken as a classroom session. In some states, it's for the driving school, like we'd go to a driving school to have our own everything. That tends to be for people who maybe went to a school that was too poor, or maybe were too old, or what have you. But in 32 of the states, it is compulsory.
I mean, that's the biggest problem, isn't it? Is how it's the cost, the added cost of actually hiring, basically a teacher specifically for to teach teenagers as school students how to drive.
And that is why some of the schools don't offer it,
yeah.
and some of the poorer schools can't offer it as well. And to cut costs, what do they do? Get rid of driver's ed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, sorry. Go on. Carry on.
No, I just found an interesting article that it tells you the age that you have to be to get your learner's permit, and it really ranges. The youngest being 14 in Alaska and North Dakota.
14.
Montana's 14 and a half.
If we have any US viewers that maybe you do live in Alaska or one of these frontier provinces, let us know if you know why the driving age is so young. I mean, here in the UK, of course, 16 years old is the lowest age, and that's for a CBT. That's literally just it. It doesn't allow you to drive cars. It's literally just 50cc scooters is what you're entitled to ride when you're 16, and then 17 years old is for driving and motorcycles in the usual sense.
In some states, such as Kansas, Minnesota, Mississippi, you can take your full license as young as 16.
Yeah.
Whereas other states, such as New Jersey, Massachusetts, Maryland,
yeah.
and Florida, you have to be 18 to
Yeah.
get your full license. So it kind of sits either side of where we are, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, it just made me wonder, why couldn't we offer a CBT?
Yeah.
As a class?
Yeah, and it's not
and it wouldn't be compulsory, it'd be optional.
Well, in some senses, you kind of think, well, yeah, it should be optional, but in other senses, maybe it shouldn't be optional. Maybe just off the top of my head, just to give people, even if they don't intend to learn how to drive or ride a motorcycle, whatever, I'm assuming they're still going to be road users, so they're still going to be trying to go places. So just to give them awareness of how the road works, the road system, etiquette and things like that might be beneficial from that standpoint, just to enhance their own safety on the roads and things. And I'm pretty sure that it's pretty straightforward from a pedestrian's point of view, knowing how to navigate roads. But I mean, you never know. That's the thing. You know, especially like a teenager. In school, someone in school that is, maybe they haven't been out all that much. I mean, well, actually, it's actually quite an interesting point there, because whenever we went to America, and I get this as well, whenever we go traveling to Europe or what have you, I always get really nervous walking around towns and cities and stuff because I don't know who's got right of way. I don't necessarily know what all the road signs mean. And especially in the United States, when we went to Florida,
I was about to say
like
this.
trying to cross some of those massive intersections, those massive crossroads where they've got like 4 lanes on each side of the road, and you don't know when you're supposed to cross.
Yeah, it's those signs where the hand comes up and then it starts counting down, and then there's a person that's counting down. I got so confused.
Yeah, I got
we
so
just ran
nervous.
for it, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we had to.
Because at one point it said we could go, but the cars were still coming. It's so confusing.
And of course, because it was, you had like the zebra marks on the road as well, so you kind of thought to yourself, well, you know, and then you got the markings, sorry, not the markings, the lights and everything to indicate when you're supposed to go and when you're not supposed to go. But drivers just seem to just go. And also as well, isn't it at traffic lights in the United States where if you're just turning, is it right? Because you're on the right side of the road. If you're turning right, you don't have to obey the traffic lights. I think it's just like a general give way. So if there's no one coming from the left-hand side coming towards you, then you can just go, I think.
But if we
regardless of what the light says, I think. I don't know. I'm never driven in the United States, but
if we lived there, it would make more sense because we'd be living in it day in day.
Yeah, of course, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, it maybe just a bit off topic there, but I just thought it was just really funny the way how I've myself have been intimidated by foreign kind of country rules and things.
Side note, we love Tenerife, don't we? It's somewhere we often frequent.
Tenerife.
And I remember we came down from the volcano and I was like, this is cool. Like, we're driving and then this car came towards us because we were on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
Because we just went back into England, like driving in England sort of mode.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Again, the rules are very different.
And it's interesting because a few of you have picked up in the chat about, you know, it shouldn't be enforced. You know, you shouldn't force people to learn how to drive. And maybe not. But at the same time, if you are learning to drive, then there's no reason why you shouldn't do a CBT anyway.
Yeah.
So if you do plan to drive and you are supposed to go through this driver's education in schools, then I suppose there's no reason why, you know, you can't do CBT training regardless if you're driving a car or driving a motorcycle in future, just to be taught that anyway. You know, just at least give you a head start. There are a few people actually, when we've done our kind of like beginner content, you know, around how to ride motorcycles and things, we've had people in the comments of these videos saying things like, oh my God, my CBT instructor didn't teach me that. I didn't get taught this. I didn't get taught that. And it's, you know, it's one of those things that I think that a lot of these CBT instructors kind of just expect people to know how to ride a motorcycle. Or even just know how to ride a scooter.
Or just have road awareness.
Yeah, but the whole point of doing a CBT is that you don't have any of that awareness, you don't have any of that experience, you don't know how to ride a scooter, you don't know how to ride a motorcycle. In fact, that's one of the most embarrassing experiences I ever had. The very first time I got on a scooter was on my CBT, and the CBT instructor said, right, the thing you really don't want to do as soon as you turn the bike on is pull that throttle back. You want to be gentle on it, and what do? I turn it on and go, and then the instructor just like, luckily they're in front of me, so they were to grab onto the brake. But these are the kinds of people you get on CBTs. You do get people that do repeat CBTs because obviously they expire after 2 years, so they do come back and have to do them again if they don't plan on getting their full motorcycle license. But let's be honest, the vast majority of people doing the CBT is going to be these boys and girls coming almost straight out of school. So, sorry, go on. You were going to say something.
Was I?
I can't remember. Sorry, I thought I interrupted you. Sorry.
Maybe. I don't know. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
I think just looking down the comments as they're coming in, having road awareness is obviously really, really important, regardless if you're a pedestrian or a driver or a rider. But I think if there was the option for a class, like an optional class as a additional, like an after school club or something, where you could actually go and it maybe be subsidized of how much it would actually cost for someone, it might actually help those people who maybe want a job, a part-time job, and having to rely on, get your bike out, are having to rely on public transport and things like that, and it might just give those people that bit of independence. But I don't see why we couldn't offer it, except for the government are too stingy.
Actually, I've just had another thought, because if you're 16 and you're joining the army in the UK, if you want to be in logistics, you want to be a driver of one of the logistics vans, I think, or even if you want to be like a tank driver, I'm not sure on that, but a logistics driver, you are allowed to get your driving license at 16 in the army.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Specifically in the army.